Guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Ian at All Out Adventure Scotland. Today's video I'm going to be running you through my adventure setup for short term travel, keeping it lightweight, keeping the agility of the bike, what I typically want to carry when I'm out 2 or 3 days. And yeah, hope you like the video. Give us a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Let's get after it. Guys, yeah, so for my adventure setup, yeah, what I'm going to be wanting to run is I've got my Acerbis Camelback on the back there, carrying all my water. There's enough in here for 3 litres of water if I need to carry it. If I'm going right off track and there's not going to be much source of water, then I'll put in the 3 litres, and then I've got enough for my cooking and stuff as well. And then obviously a pouch in the back there, I can carry additional food, my gels, energy bars, stuff like that as well. In conjunction with that, I run the Acerbis tool belt roll, and I actually just keep that strapped onto the back of the bike. We'll go through the contents of that as well, but it keeps it out of the way, but I can get direct access to that quick and easy, and it's out the way of the rest of the kit and equipment, but it just keeps the weight off of my belt as well. I don't want to be carrying too much weight around about my body when I want the agility of the bike. Obviously, we talked about the Rhino Walk saddlebags, 14 litres on each side. This carries all the main compartment of my stuff. I keep the heavier equipment on the left hand side just to counterbalance the exhaust on the right, and then the same again the other side. And then I just run a dry bag, normal style dry bag on the top, and that just sits along the top of the bike. Again, this has got my direct access kit that I want to set up camp straight away, so after a day's riding, you're cold, wet, miserable, you just want to get underneath some shelter and set up. I carry like my tents in there along with my roll mat. I've got a good old fashioned military style poncho with the bungees already attached. And again, I can fire that up quick and easy, set up within minutes, find a couple of trees, get it up, and it gives you shelter. Also handy to have that poncho with me. Any maintenance or work I need to carry out on the bike, especially if it's raining, cold, wet, miserable, you want a bit of shelter, especially if you're changing out something like a tyre. You can fire up that poncho, get the bike underneath it, and you can work away in the bike relatively out the elements. Nothing worse than trying to change out a tyre when you're already cold, wet and miserable, and yeah, it's just a nightmare. So good old fashioned military style poncho. Also in there I've got my little fishing rod. That gives me something to do when I set up camp for the day, and yeah, and it's super lightweight and easy. What I will take out of this and show you for the day is an accessory that I've started carrying, and I have used the lighter weight one, but I've went a bit heavier now. Ratchet strap, good length of strapping for it, and a good heavy duty ratchet itself. That'll come into its own, especially you start getting these things bogged down, which I found out recently, and I could not get the thing out for the life of me, and I was digging it out for ages. So this in effect becomes a pulley system. You can ratchet this onto the front of the bike. I can dig in my entrenching tool, which I'll show you later on. I can dig that in, and it almost effectively acts as a winch to get me out of a sticky situation if I get the bike stuck again. Also, what it'll act as, if I do get a puncture and I need to get the bike up off the air, I get myself into a nice bit of tree line. I can loop that up and over a branch of a tree. I can hook that onto the front of the bike using the centre stand as the balancing point for it, and then I can winch the bike up off the ground, and it'll give me access to getting the wheels off the bike should I need it. So I've upgraded to the heavy duty one. Again, hopefully I'm not going to need one again soon. I did have a lighter weight one and it just didn't work out for the weight of the bike, so I upgraded, and again it'll come into a world of its own should I have to use it. Better to have it and not need it, as opposed to carrying it, not carrying it and then needing it when you do. So yeah, that's the kind of tool setup I'm carrying, lightweight. Obviously got my tent, my roll mat, and my poncho in the bag along with the toe strap. And then on the tank bag itself, I'm running the KTM tank bag. It's got more than 10 litres of kit worth in there. I'll keep that lightweight just to keep that lower centre of gravity nice and low as well. And all I'm carrying in there is things like my drone, camera equipment, spare batteries, my wallet, personal belongings, stuff like that. I can just zip that off and I can carry it into shops and stuff with me, so all my personal belongings are nice and secure, easy enough to attach on and off. Onto the saddlebags themselves then. Again, everybody's kit and equipment is going to be slightly different. Like I said, on the left hand side of the bike, slightly heavier equipment. So in here, obviously today I'm not carrying my my food and stuff for today, but extra batteries, electrical stuff, all in dry bags inside the dry bag itself, and then all my food, my gels and all that would go into this little dry bag here, and again it would just tuck in nicely in the top. Cooking, and again, forgive me for being for a little bit over OCD with it, but I like to have everything labelled up so it's nice and easy for me to read. Get it out the bag, I know exactly what's in that little bag. So again, in the dry bag, carrying a good old fashioned jet boil. Does all my cooking. It's big enough to make anything in that, from my coffees, my stews, anything I want to put in there, I can make that away. Spare gas as well. This is a bigger one, which will do more than a litre worth of water as well, so I can cook up my boil in the bags for my food, and then I'll have enough water left over for my coffees and etc. So yeah, again, everything nice secure inside individual dry bags. Axe. So I like to carry the axe as well. Super handy. You come around a trail one day, there's a big tree across the path. You can quickly get this out, chop it out the way, get it off your path, your line of travel. Also good for just chopping your firewood and stuff as well. It's a handy tool to have. So that's a good addition to have as well. Little fishing kit, goes in conjunction with my little fishing rod. I've got spinners and lures and all that in there, and if I'm lucky I might catch myself some extra food when I'm stopped off near a loch or a lake by a river or whatever. Always handy to have, so I keep that handy. Washing kit, first aid kit, again you can make that what you want. I carry some wet wipes in there, having a good old Glasgow wash in the morning as opposed to getting into freezing cold water. Just give myself a dust over with a couple of wet wipes. First aid kit, I'll make that what I want, so that will be specific to me. Wherever you're going, if you're going for a bit of distance you might want a little bit more specific stuff in there. Again, everything labelled up. And then I've got my torch. Obviously in Scotland we're going to need a bit of smidge. The midges get horrendous round about here. I've got a midgie net in there. I've got my first aid kit. Again, that's relative to me. I've got blister patches in there. I've got different ointments and creams and stuff, and good old fashioned emergency blanket should I need it. You never know what's going to happen when you're out there. You end up out on your own, you get badly injured, you start going down with hypothermia or whatever, you're going to need to get nice and warm relatively quick until help comes near you. From a tools perspective then, tools and puncture repair kit. Obviously I'm running a tubed setup tyre on the front there for the more aggressive tyre, and then in the back I've kept the tubeless setup. So I carry a spare tube obviously for the front. I'll carry additional tools in there as well, and then I've got a plug and seal kit for the tubeless setup in the back. In the back there I've got things like the canister, the CO2 canisters to blow up the tyre, the plug and fit seal. You find out where you've got a bit of a puncture, plug it out, seal it, and then you've got the gas in there to get it back onto the rim should you require it. So yeah, it's nice and easy system to use, relatively cheap off Amazon as well, which I find is handy to have. Additional tools, got a miniature socket set here that pretty much does all the nuts and bolts and stuff on my bike. And again, we'll go through the tool roll on the back of the bike as well. That's the stuff I need direct access to, along with my tyre levers and stuff like that. This is just additional kit to make my life a little bit easier if I do need to start stripping the bike down. So that's kind of the heavier kit on the left hand side of the bike. I've got a fire starting kit in there as well, along with an additional miniature entrenching tool. Again, that's a must have as far as I have been caught out before. So I've got some fire starting kit in there, matchless fire starting kit. You don't want to be leaving home without your lighter, and then you realise when you get out into the bush and you need to start a fire, you've not got access to starting a fire. So I've got a matchless fire starting kit in there, and then I've got the entrenching tool that we talked about earlier, and we can use that in conjunction with our recovery as well if we have to. So I can literally dig this in somewhere. You know, if I need to pull the bike out of somewhere, again, this is good for just digging my fire pits, shit pits, things like that. So the idea is, get the bike bogged in, stuck somewhere. I can dig a hole deep enough down, keeping it a relatively same shape and size of that shovel. I can dig the shovel in with the pickaxe in as well, and then I can use the handle as a lever. The ratchet strap then goes round the the handle of the shovel itself, and then I can use that as a winch system to get my bike out of the mud if it gets stuck in. So super handy little tool to have, and again there's all sorts of uses for it as well. That's the left hand side of the bike, guys. We'll move on to the right hand side of the bike just to show you the kit and equipment I'm carrying for that. So yeah, guys, on the right hand side of the bike then, again, like I says, I'm keeping the lighter weight stuff on the right hand side just to counterbalance the exhaust for the left hand side. All my warm kit in there, so I've got my Bergos fleece lined jacket, my hat, my gloves, additional warm kit. You know what it's like when you roll off the track sometimes and you're cold, wet, miserable. You just want to get into some warm kit. So what I'll tend to do is I'll run a wet dry routine. All my wet kit, like I says, I'll get the camp set up, get my poncho set up. That gives shelter for the bike, and then I'll just run a little zip line underneath that poncho. I can hang all my bike kit on and let that dry out. What I tend to do is hang the jacket and the trousers over the bike and just let the natural warmth off the engine when it's cooling down to dry out my jacket and my trousers and stuff. And then I'll just slip on, I've got my additional jersey, jogging trousers and stuff in there. And what I'll carry is my Vibram 5-finger little shoes, and I'll just slip them on as well, and then that just keeps me nice and warm, and it gives me something comfortable to sit about in when I'm set up camp. And then, like I said, I've got additional warm kit in there, so my Bergos down jacket, hat and gloves and all that kind of stuff, depending on what time of year it is. And then I just run my sleeping system. I blow up pillow in there along with my lightweight, it's a 3-season sleeping bag. But like I said, if I get too cold, I've got my down jacket to throw on as well, and that's going to keep me warm, so it effectively doubles up my sleeping bag system. So yeah, nice and lightweight. Obviously, additions to add in there still, things like additional food and water and stuff. But overall, you're probably looking at about 30 to 40 pounds additional kit on there, so relatively lightweight for lightweight adventure travel. And this gives me the ability to keep the bike agile when I want to do the more extreme off-road stuff. And having tried it out already, it's working out quite well. And like I says, when I'm up on the pegs, the rhino walks are not really affecting me. They're not getting in the way or anything, and I'm keeping that low centre of gravity on the back of the bike, as opposed to carrying too much weight on the front. So like I says, guys, I've kept everything really lightweight and really accessible from the front to the back of the bike. The tool roll I was talking about on the back, so there's my kind of setup there. Everything you generally want to carry for extreme off-roading. Inevitably something's going to go wrong at some time. So in there I've got all my direct access toolkit that I need, enough to get the wheels off the bike, strip the bike down. I've got cable ties in there. I carry a good old-fashioned heavy duty lock nut removal. That's a ratchet with the actual big size nut removal on there as well, with all the different additions to the KTM 890 Adventure R. So I've got enough kit in there to see me through any puncture repairs that I need to do, any maintenance in the bike, and if I need to carry any additional fluids and stuff, and then I can pack them in and around the bike as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, that's my typical setup that I'm going to be running. I hope to go out to Europe at some point this year, if not next year, and start hitting some trans-Euro trails out there, like Sweden and across Germany and Holland and stuff. And this is what I'm going to be running. So yeah, pretty lightweight. I've got enough kit on there to see me through the week or so of travel, and it just keeps the agility and the flexibility of the bike as well, allowing me to do that more aggressive off-road type stuff. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and yeah, subscribe to the channel if you're new to it, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching.